Welcome back to Meghan and Harry Tales. I'm your host, Adrian. Picture this. While the world debates royal reconciliations and family feuds, Prince Harry quietly slips into war-torn Ukraine, camera crews absent, headlines minimal, yet what unfolds there might just redefine his entire post-royal mission. This isn't another charity photo op or carefully orchestrated PR moment. This is Harry, stripped of royal protocol, standing face-to-face with Ukrainian veterans whose stories of survival mirror his own journey through trauma. What he announces next could signal the most significant strategic shift in his humanitarian work since stepping back from royal duties. Buckle up, because today we're diving deep into Harry's surprise visit to Kyiv and the game-changing announcement that has everyone talking. Let's set the scene. Friday morning in Kyiv, a city that's become synonymous with resilience over the past 3 years. While most of us were scrolling through our morning feeds, Prince Harry was already on Ukrainian soil, but this wasn't announced until after the fact. No advance press releases, no royal correspondence in tow, just Harry, the Invictus Games Foundation team, and a mission that clearly meant more to him than any media attention. The Duke of Sussex has always been drawn to the stories of those who've served and sacrificed, but this visit feels different. Since launching the Invictus Games in 2014, Harry has seen firsthand how sport can heal both body and spirit. But Ukraine represents something unprecedented in the Invictus story, a nation whose veterans aren't just dealing with the aftermath of conflict, but are still living through it daily. What makes this visit particularly striking is the timing. While tabloids continue to dissect every aspect of his relationship with the royal family, Harry chose to focus his energy on something far more immediate and tangible: the needs of Ukrainian service members and their families who are dealing with life-altering injuries while their homeland remains under siege. The Instagram post from the Invictus Games Foundation tells us something crucial about Harry's mindset. These aren't just ceremonial visits or token gestures. The foundation shared multiple photos of Harry engaging directly with Ukrainian veterans and their families, and the body language in these images speaks volumes. There's an authenticity and connection that you can't manufacture for the cameras. Now let's talk about what Harry actually announced, because this is where things get really interesting. The Invictus Games Foundation revealed what they're calling a new strategy to focus where the need is great, and the specifics are telling. First, they're providing funding for adaptive equipment to widen access across Ukraine. This isn't just about wheelchairs or prosthetics. We're talking about specialized equipment that allows individuals with severe injuries to participate in sports and physical activities that many of us take for granted. The psychological impact of regaining physical capability cannot be overstated, especially for military personnel whose identity is often deeply tied to their physical capabilities. Second, and this is particularly fascinating, they're launching a Train the Trainer adaptive snow sports program in partnership with AFPST and Ukrainian Action. Think about the genius of this approach. Instead of bringing Ukrainian veterans to international facilities, they're building local capacity. They're training Ukrainian instructors who can then work with their own people in their own language, understanding their specific cultural and psychological needs. This represents a fundamental shift from the traditional charity model of bringing people to us to empowering communities to help themselves. It's sustainable, it's respectful, and it acknowledges that healing happens best when it's rooted in community and culture. But here's what I find most compelling about this announcement. The Foundation specifically noted that Ukraine has been part of the Invictus community since 2017. This isn't Harry swooping in to save the day. This is Harry recognizing a partnership that's been years in the making and now deepening that commitment when it's needed most. What we're witnessing here goes far beyond a single charitable initiative. This represents what appears to be a fundamental recalibration of Harry's post-royal strategy, and the implications are significant. Since stepping back from royal duties, Harry and Meghan have faced criticism about the focus and effectiveness of their various initiatives. Some have questioned whether their approach was too scattered, too celebrity-focused, or too removed from grassroots needs. This Ukraine visit and the accompanying strategy seem to directly address those criticisms. The phrase "focus where the need is great" isn't just marketing speak, it signals a more strategic, targeted approach to philanthropy. Rather than trying to tackle every global issue, Harry appears to be doubling down on what he knows best, supporting veterans and military families through sport and community building. There's also something deeply personal about this choice. Harry has been open about his own struggles with mental health following his military service and the trauma of losing his mother. His connection to the military community isn't theoretical, it's lived experience. When he sits with Ukrainian veterans dealing with PTSD, survivors' guilt and physical trauma, he's not just offering sympathy, he's offering understanding born from his own journey. The timing of the shift is also worth noting. As reports circulate about potential reconciliation with his father, King Charles, and other senior royals, Harry is simultaneously carving out a distinct identity that doesn't depend on royal approval or recognition. He's building something that's entirely his own, rooted in his military experience and his genuine passion for helping others heal through sport and community. This Ukraine initiative shows Harry at his most effective when he's working within his area of expertise, building genuine partnerships and focusing on sustainable long-term impact rather than short-term headlines. Now, we can't discuss this Ukraine visit without addressing the elephant in the room, the ongoing speculation about Harry's relationship with the royal family and the recent reports suggesting a potential reconciliation with King Charles. The timing here is fascinating and perhaps not coincidental. Just as stories emerge about Harry potentially ending his feud with his father and considering reconciliation with other senior royals, he's simultaneously demonstrating his value and relevance on the global stage through substantive humanitarian work. This creates an interesting dynamic. Harry is showing that he doesn't need royal titles or official positions to make a meaningful impact. He's built something significant with the Invictus Games that stands entirely on its own merit. This isn't a prince doing charity work because it's expected. This is a military veteran supporting other veterans because he understands their struggles firsthand. From a strategic standpoint, this positions Harry as someone approaching any potential royal reconciliation from a position of strength rather than desperation. He's not crawling back hoping to be welcomed into the fold. He's demonstrating that he's been building something valuable all along. The Ukraine visit also reinforces Harry's unique position within the royal family. While other senior royals excel at ceremonial duties and traditional charity patronages, Harry has carved out a niche in military support and veteran affairs that no other royal can replicate with the same authenticity. If reconciliation does occur, Harry brings something distinct and valuable to the table. His work with Invictus Games and military communities worldwide gives the royal family credibility and connection to constituencies that might otherwise feel disconnected from the monarchy. So where does this leave us, and what does this mean for Harry's future trajectory? First, this Ukraine visit and strategic announcement suggests that Harry has found his sweet spot, the intersection of his personal experience, genuine passion, and areas where he can make measurable impact. The Invictus Games have become more than just a sporting event. They've become a global movement for veteran rehabilitation and community building. Second, the approach demonstrated in Ukraine, sustainable, community-based, partnership-driven, could serve as a template for how Harry approaches other initiatives going forward. Rather than spreading himself thin across multiple causes, he seems to be deepening his commitment to what he does best. Third, this positions Harry as a serious humanitarian figure in his own right, regardless of his royal status. The Ukrainian veterans he's working with don't care about his titles or family drama. They care about whether he can deliver real support for their recovery and reintegration. Looking ahead, I expect we'll see more of this focused, strategic approach from Harry. The days of scattershot initiatives and celebrity-driven campaigns seem to be giving way to deeper, more sustained engagement with specific communities and causes. Whether or not royal reconciliation occurs, Harry is building something that will outlast family feuds and tabloid headlines. The Invictus Games and the broader veteran support network he's creating represent his true legacy, not as a prince, but as someone who found his purpose in helping others heal. And perhaps that's the most important takeaway from this Ukraine visit. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply show up, listen, and commit to the long-term work of making things better. That's exactly what Harry did in Kyiv, and it's exactly what the world needs more of. Thanks for joining me on Meghan and Harry Tales. I'm Adrian, and we'll see you next time.